Skills on the platform. What's up, YouTube? Back with another one. Today, I just wanted to talk about real quick life. What is life? Um, we see a lot of madness going on in the world. We see people have some type of, you know, it's like people are living life, but they're really not living life. And well, you know what? Let's pull up the definition of life. All right, so let me pull this up here real quick. All right, so life. Life is a characteristic that distinguishes physical entities that have biological processes such as signaling and self sustaining processes from those that do not, either because of such functions have ceased, they have died, or because they never had such functions, are classified as inanimate. Okay, we're gonna break this down today because I got a little time. So I'm gonna read that again. Life. I just pulled this up on Google, so if anybody wants to go ahead and do this, follow along with me as well, so we can go ahead and get this understanding. Because life is about understanding. Life is about living. If you're not living life, you're dead. So, is it possible to be alive but dead at the same time? Yeah, it's possible because we are creators. We are created in the likeness and image of the Most High, right? So that means that we should consistently be creating. We should be consistently in a position where we're growing. That's life. But if you're not growing on a consistent basis, that means you're not living. That means you're what would be considered the living dead. Hmm. Something to think about, right? The living dead. Wow. Hmm. Okay. Thank you, Spirit. So, life is a characteristic. Let's break this down. A characteristic that distinguishes physical entities that have biological processes. So it means is there is some physical existence, something that you can touch, you can actually feel, such as signaling and self-sustaining processes. So that means there's a process going on a consistent basis to keep this life up. From those that do not, either because such functions have ceased. So that means if you're not functioning properly, you cease to exist. I'm going to say that again because we're really going to digest this. This is not something where we're just trying to spew out a whole bunch of information and trying to confuse people, because we know there's too much confusion in the world. People don't need any more confusion. We got a lot of that out there. We need some strict, we need some solid information to be able to apply to our lives on a consistent basis, to be able to get results that we seek on a consistent basis. Because if we're not getting results, we're dead. We cease to exist. It would be classified as inanimate. What does inanimate mean? Not alive, especially not in the manner of animals and humans, showing no sign of life, lifeless. So either you're living life or you're living in death. Hmm, interesting. Very interesting. So, like I said, we're going to continue to break this down slowly but surely. Life is a characteristic that distinguishes physical entities. There's physics involved. So I mean there's a biological process that's taking place, such as signaling and self-sustaining processes. When we wake up, when we sleep, we're breathing. We don't have to really think about that. The process continues, but you have to sustain that life. You have to nurture it. So that means that certain activities that we engage in on a consistent basis, you are either producing life with your activity or you're producing death. Scriptures teach life and death is in the power of the tongue. What are you doing? Are you perpetuating life or are you perpetuating death? That's the question. Life on one hand, death in the other. What are you doing? Do we speak life into our neighbors? Do we speak life into our friends and family members? Do we speak life to our loved ones, our children, our lovers? Are we speaking life into these people that are close to us, or do we speak death into one another? Scriptures also teach you will know them by their fruits that they bear. Hmm. Know them by their fruits. So you should be able to spot out people and circumstances and things in one's life that are fruitless and non fruitless, which are giving life and which is giving death. So we're powerful. We are powerful. We can create life and we can take life away. We can build or we can destroy. What are you choosing to do with your life? Are you choosing to build or are you choosing to destroy? Let's just think about that for a moment. I'm not here trying to sell anything because I can, or anyone for that matter, can go out and just tear things up. And I mean tear things up real good. Just leave destruction everywhere you go. But there's something that you must understand when you leave destruction behind you. That same destruction you leave behind you, that death, it follows you. And it will come back to get you. So are you dropping seeds of life or dropping seeds of death everywhere you go? Everyone has free will. That means you have the choice to do so. So there's no excuse for not being able to have the bare necessities in your life on a consistent basis if you are producing life. Once you reach a certain age, there's no excuses anymore. There's children, teenagers doing great things in the world right now. Young people running businesses with assistance of adults, of course, but nonetheless, these children are creating things today. So anyone that's considered an adult has no excuse for behaviors that don't produce life. People don't like to be judged, but this is the time it's needed. Everyone should be judged according to what they're doing and how they're doing it. Because if there wasn't no such thing as judgment, people will be running around, running amok around here on the planet. Everybody would be running amok. So it'd just be simply just kill or be killed. But that's why there's law in place. That's why there's law and order in place to keep those individuals from running amok. Now, why is it that people wake up in the morning and think of evil to do? What kind of thought? What kind of thoughts run through a mind of an individual or a group of people who wake up in the morning and think about harming other people? I could tell you why, but I think people already know. Money, so-called money. For the love of money, people would steal from their own mother. For the love of money, they would kill their own brother. For the love of money. And most people don't even know what money is. If we keep this, real thorough, people have an idea of what money is. People have been taught what money is. People don't know what money is. I'm not gonna get into that right now because that's a whole nother video. Somewhere down the road, I'll drop something about that. But we're talking about life today. Life and death. Now, is death necessary? To a certain degree, it is because it's a process. Something dies and it comes back because life is consists of energy, and we all know energy never dies; it just transforms. I can literally take this into so many different directions, but I'm trying to stay on topic the entire time right now because the whole purpose is about life. Hmm. I'll call back. So, like I said, once again, life. We all need to understand something. If your life, because I'm going to assume that whether people are out here doing destructive or doing things that's actually building, when it boils down to it, if your life is not where you think it should be or where you would like it to be, you need to start reevaluating yourself. You need to start thinking about the decisions that you're making on a consistent basis. The choices that we are making. Because those choices and decisions that we make on a consistent basis are affecting our life for the better or for the worse, whether we want to admit it or not. Now, our parents, our elders, they are they're responsible for a lot that we see today, for not giving the younger generation or the generation after them the tools and the keys to life. Now, if they were not given the tools and keys to life, naturally they probably won't be able to pass that along to the next generation. But if we take the time out to just pause, like I said, take the time for ourselves to learn yourself, to learn about your makeup and who you really are. We're gods on this planet. The scriptures teach that. Jesus said that in the scriptures. Jesus said to the Pharisees and the Sadducees, he says, doesn't it say that in your scriptures that ye are gods? Not in those words exact, but just paraphrasing. Doesn't it say in your scrolls that ye are gods? We can create and we can destroy. We can create life and we can destroy life. We can create our life the way we want it to be, according to certain principles. We can destroy our life from those lack of principles. We got to take the time out, people. And we got to take the time out to study ourselves, to know who we are in its entirety. So that way we can consistently, on a consistent basis, create and build. Because if we're not building, we're destroying. There's no in between. We can kind of play like there's an in between. There's what we call a gray area. There's no gray area. You either doing one or the other. You're either productive or you're counterproductive. People, it's time to choose life. It's time to choose life over death. We must stop the nonsense and do better because we are better. The time it takes for people to conjure up some nonsense and foolishness to be able to try to come up in this world, whatever you want to call it. That same time you put an effort into that, you can put the time and effort to create life and get more than you would trying to destroy. I remember one time I was telling some folks about some real estate, and I was telling them that if you take your time, you do this, that, and the third, within 30 days, you could be generating a large amount of money on a consistent basis. I was telling them about a guy that I know. He's worth quite a bit, and in the process of me telling them that, they were telling me about how they would rob the man. Like, I'm like, what? Like, that's crazy. The process you just took to sit there and conjure up to think about trying to rob the man. You don't know this man could teach you all kinds of stuff to take you to the point in a place in your life where you've never been. You teach a man how to fish, and he'll be able to eat for the rest of his life. But if you give a man the fish, he's only going to eat for that moment. But instead of them trying to learn how to fish, they want to take the man's fish. That's just insane to me. But I don't just blame people entirely. Society has a lot to do with the way people think in the Western world. That's the reason why, there's a saying that's going around for some time now that someone that speaks three languages is trilingual. Someone that speaks two languages is bilingual. And someone that speaks one language is considered American. So that means people are just simple minds, simple minded, nitwits, half witted. It's a choice. People are not, people recognize foolishness, but it's like they kind of feel like they can't do better. It's a feeling. Feelings will get you messed up every time. You get caught up in your feelings, you get yourself messed up. How many times people don't got into their feelings and got messed up? There's several stories on that. I don't have to get into that. But you could just look at several stories of people, losing their lives because they were in their feelings. Not thinking. We all have brains in our heads. They were given to us to think, to produce, to create, to get things done, not to destroy. The ability to destroy is there, but there comes a time for that. We're supposed to be spending most of our time building. Now, when is it necessary for a time to destroy? When people don't think. Because if people are not thinking, there are people that are thinking. So the ones that are not thinking, they're just moving and reacting. So if you rise up, a non-thinker tries to rise up against a thinker, that non-thinker is going to get shattered every time, destroyed, because that's time to apply destruction. It's to when someone's not thinking. So you want to run around Earth on this planet and not think, you will be destroyed, without a doubt. Do you want life or do you want death? Because death is everywhere. but life must be cherished. Live your life, people. Choose life and choose it more abundantly. All right, YouTube. Like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell, and I'll see you again on the next one. Have a great day. Peace.